what happens upon freeing these people that you have consistently demonized, dehumanized, victimized, and oppressed? How do you coexist? And some, like Thomas Jefferson, didn't believe it was possible to coexist. Suggests that they should be moved way beyond, back to Africa, away from the memory, the 10,000 recollections, to quote him, of what has been done to them. That he believed would end up causing the extermination of one or the other race, white or black. He didn't believe they could coexist because we'd remember what was done to us. So what do? You erase the memory.
I'm here. Thank you for tapping in. This is Brian HRap B. Williams. This is the End of the Bench meeting. This is the title of this is A Few Minutes with HRap. Every day I come on, attempt to uplift our community, empower our community, and do everything I can to ensure that our community is the best place it could be. Thank you for tapping in. Hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend to tap in. Thank you. If you're not watching this live, I would suggest, I would ask, and I would request that you go to www.theendofthebench.com, www.theendofthebench.com. We have this month's information. We have last month's information and a tab called More Information. And those are the older episodes. So you can just go to YouTube at The End of the Bench Media. Thank you. I like to thank my both my parents, Dolores and John. Dolores is my mom. John is my dad. Without them, there'd be no me. Without me, you'd be doing something else with your valuable time. Now, as I stated, you are currently watching A Few Minutes with HRap. The reason I always say that is because I never want you to forget what this is about. This is about the improvement of life for my great-grandchildren, our great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren. That's how far we need to be thinking. We can't think, oh, we're going to have it good in 2026. We're going to have it good in 2028. We're going to have it good in 2032. We need to be talking about 2232. And if we start playing like that, at that point, we won't be defeated because we have the ingenuity, we have to stick to it, and we have the drive, the resilience to do anything we want. But a lot of us have forgotten. Hence, learn from the past. We have to learn from the past. If we don't learn from the past, we're doomed to repeat it. History is cyclical. It's going to keep doing the same thing until you learn the lesson. A lot of us will say that's God. God makes you repeat things. History makes you repeat things. God makes you repeat things. However you're comfortable digesting that information is how we will get past this. If you don't know things, you will continue to do things. If you don't recognize the mistakes that you've made in life, you will continue to repeat those mistakes. You continue to repeat those mistakes. You continue to live in that hell that you have placed yourself in. God don't put you in hell. You do. God, I'm going to say that again. God does not put you in hell. You put yourself in hell. And when you refuse to adhere to the warnings, the red flags, the bells, and the whistles, you will continue to do the same things you've done. And guess what happens then? You be pissed off, dejected, upset, crying, praying, and things of that nature because you did not do what you were supposed to do. We are in tumultuous times, and I think I've started every show in the last 2 weeks by saying we're in tumultuous times. But that's the truth. But the problem with tumultuous times is you never look back. You caught in the moment. You move like that. People say you're going through a storm, but what we end up doing as a community is stop, looking to my left. Well, Phyllis did this. Mocha did that, and we stuck right here because I'm watching Phyllis and Mocha. I'm not moving anymore. I'm watching Poe, and I'm not moving because I'm watching, or I'm not looking back saying, well, how did Phyllis, Poe, Mocha, Big Illinois, how did they move forward? How did Mo get in front of me? And then I say, okay, I'm gonna mimic Mo. But what we do is we'll look at Mo, we'll look at Mocha, we'll look at Poe, we look at Phyllis, we look at Big Illinois. And guess what's going to happen? I'm going to say, see, yeah, I could do that, but I ain't going to do it like that. See, I'm going to do it like this, but I ain't going to, but now you planning. You spend your entire existence critiquing and planning and never doing. And you know what you do while you're critiquing and planning? You stop and you're thinking and you're critiquing and you know everything what's wrong, what's around you, never noticing that your feet are not moving. Metaphorically, of course. because we know everything that's wrong. Hey man, you got a cold, your nose running, you coughing. No ish, Sherlock. But what you could do is say, hey man, you need to get a histamine that'll clean out your nasal tract so you can get that phlegm out of you. And you know what? You coughing. Guess what, man? What you do is you go to the grocery store and have them cut up a pineapple for you, or you get you a juicer and you juice a pineapple and sip on pineapple juice or sip on chunks of pineapple. The enzymes that are in pineapple are better than any cough syrup in the history of the world. It'll soothe your throat and stop that cough. How many people told you that? Hey man, you coughing? No ish. See, we're not problem solving, we're problem identifying. And why do I need to know HRap, man? You 5'10", 250. You should be about 190. No ish. I would love to be buying regular size clothes again instead of buying 44s. I would love to be getting 38. 38s are cheaper. You see what I'm saying? I don't need you to help me with that. Now, what you can do is say, hey, HRap, won't you, let's go on a walk every day. Let's walk every day. Hey man, walk up here with me. Go on this walk with me. And then next thing you know, I'm 30 pounds lighter. I'm 50 pounds lighter. And now I'm buying those 38. See, I don't need anybody to identify another problem in this community because we know them. We know them all. We know every problem in this community. What we need to do is get into the mentality of problem solving. I had a long conversation with one of my good brothers today. It was really an argument, but he my man, I'm his man, and that's how it goes sometimes. But what I want you to understand is this. We were saying the same thing. We were coming from different perspectives. His perspective was the community, if we had to give it a grade, it would be a F. I was saying we were a C minus. Both of us were saying the community needs improving. But we were so busy arguing our points that we never came to that conclusion. And that's what we have to do. Identify. Hey, you think it's a F. I think it's a C minus. Now, what do we have in common? Both of us saying we need to be at a B plus on our worst day. Now, let's work together and pull your F to a D and then to a C minus. And as we're doing that, we moving my C minus to a C, and then a B, and then an A, and then we make it a constant situation. We cannot just say, we're F, we're C minus. No, that is not going to get us anywhere anytime soon because we know what the problem is. What is the solution? The past is the future. The past is the future. That sounds crazy. How can the past be the future? Because the past is about to come back. Hey, 1975 is 50 years ago. 1975. What do people look like? They had on pants that were tight around their thighs and bell bottoms. What do men wear now? Bell bottoms. Women wear now bell bottoms. The past is the future. Now, what we do is, now that we know what the past is, we've seen the past, we've seen how we overcome things. We've overcome indentured servitude, forced indentured servitude, aka slavery. We've overcome the Reconstruction period when we made them create public schools, and then they mimicked it. And guess what? Now we have public schools, and we went from 4% literacy in their language. Never forget that. Illiteracy is pertaining to a specific language. If I can read my language like a scholar and I can't read yours, that does not make me stupid. That makes me ignorant to how to navigate your language. So we got through Jim Crow segregation, we got through redlining, we got through all kinds of discriminatory practices via the government, via townships, via community, and here we are standing strong. Now, stop telling me what somebody didn't do and tell me what you're going to, like I told you yesterday, we are soul food. What spices are you going to add to this gumbo? Oh, yeah. We got rice, we got sausage, we got chicken, we got shrimp, we got what? But guess what? What did you add to the roux? Nothing. Because we know we need roux. See, that's what I'm saying. But the past is the future. Because guess what? When we were locked out, we locked in. And when we were locked in, we moved forward and elevated. Now it's time to lock in, elevate again. But now we know, looking at the past is going to teach us that acceptance and inclusion is an illusion. We don't have to be included in a darn thing in this country, because I keep telling you, first and foremost, we're the global majority and we're the physical majority in the United States of America. Hey, all you have to do is Google how many people in Russia. Google how many people, 143 million. So that means it can't be a whole lot of Russians over here because they're at home. Google the 86 million German people in Germany. That means there can't be a whole lot of them over here. French, Italian, all the Eastern European countries, Europe, England, Ireland, France, Spain, Portugal. Why is it that it is projected in 2035 for it to be more people in Ghana and in Nigeria than on the entire continent of Europe? But you got people believing that you're the minority. At what point in the history of the world has the minority been an important thing to work on? Never. And that's why they focus on us, because they've duped us into believing it's less of us. If it was 30 people to one boss, and I'm calling him a boss, on a plantation or a death camp, because I don't call it no plantation, because the plantation makes it sound like we were there freely. That's a death camp. On those death camps, it was 30 to 1 in some cases. Sometimes it was 50 to 1 up into the 1920s, 100 years ago, when they started offering those land grants. It was more of us in places like South Carolina, more of us in places like Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and it's still more of us in those states right there. But we've never learned to exercise our power. So what we do is look at our numbers now. It's more Black people in Texas than anywhere in the United States of America. It's more Black people in Louisiana than it is in any other culture in the state. It's more Black people in Mississippi. It's more Black people in Alabama. So what you do is stop wagging your finger and saying, see, that's the problem, and come up with a solution. Start integrating yourself, start inculcating, yourself back into your families, and start visiting and get to know people, and then start immobilizing people, and then organizing people, and then we can become problem solvers instead of problem identifiers. See, let the past be your future, because now we get to organizing like we did 100 years ago. We get to organizing like we did once 100 years ago. And then now in 50, 60, 70 years, we're unstoppable. See, we never talk about exactly, they want us to think we're minorities. We never talk about where we went wrong. Like I told my brother when we were talking today, I said, we can no longer address what the problem is, the sniffles, the cough, the headache. What we have to start discussing is what caused the sniffles. What caused the cough? What caused the headache? And I'm not going to say it's this. No, it is an amalgamation of it is a myriad of things that put us right here. Starting with a government that has attacked us, starting with they're moving with hate groups and discriminatory practices. But the number one thing is our wanting and needing to be a part of a system that has gave us its ass to kiss. I'm going to say that again. Our wanting and needing to be a part of a system that gives us its ass to kiss. Because we don't have to be a part of anything. See, if you are on a football, say like me, I was on the football team before. So no, I didn't really join the fraternity because I was in a group. And guess what? When I walk into a room, when I was a younger man, and I walked into a room and started talking to people, you play football. Mm-hmm. Football players gravitate towards each other. I ain't had to join an organization. I was an athlete when I was younger, so I didn't have to join the Vice Lords or the GDs or the Stones or the Cobra Stones or the Four Corner Hustlers or whoever it was. I didn't, because I was part of a crew. Guess what? I got like 30 cousins that live right here in the city of Chicago. I was in a gang. I was born in one. So I didn't have to. And guess what? We're born in the game. Descendants of African people, because they are not slaves. If you call my people a slave in front of me, you're going to have a problem. We are not descendants of slaves. We're descendants of people who were enslaved. We're descendants of people who were prisoners of war. That's what we are. But back to the point. See, we could sit around and have these conversations and not pay attention to what happened in the past. You know, like our brother Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton was assassinated at his house because he stood up. So now what we do is we deal with the trauma of Fred Hampton and Martin King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Malik El Shabazz, aka Malcolm X. We eat that. We talk about it. And then we come together and we talk about it. And we organize. And then you just like we protect, like I was talking about the other day, we do have standards in this community. Just like you don't go out and tell the time that you caught somebody in your family doing something horrible, no matter what the case was. We have that in-house conversation. And the people that want to identify the foul things in the community, see, it'll never happen. Okay, well, I can't help you if you want to have a self-fulfilling prophecy, because whatever you say will happen. You see it every day. The people that you see on television, whether it be athletics, news anchors, doctors, lawyers, they said, I'm going to be ... In 1980, my mother asked me, what was I going to be? I told her I was going to be a sportscaster, because by the time I became 32, when I retired from the National Football League, O.J. Simpson would be too old and I would be on air. Now, I'm not on NBC, but I'm on air and you're listening. Ta-da! Now, what we do is use our past. Now, what I do from that is I take my past and my dream. I learn how to use the software. I learn how to use other softwares. I learn how I practice when I'm not on air. So when I come on air, I won't be saying, let me 1 second. So I practice, so I get better and I get better. And you guys continue to tap in. And I had 5 people subscribe since Wednesday. Thank you to the people who subscribed since Wednesday. Again, if we want to be better, we have to plan to be better, because our past shows us what to do. And then we plan for our future. But the biggest problem is we don't identify who our enemy is. We refuse to identify who our enemy is. Our biggest enemy is not us. Oh man, we are our worst enemy. You're a damn fool if you believe that. You are a damn fool if you believe the people in this community are the worst enemies that we can ever have. Because you know what? I definitely identify with some, as my mother would say, it's some zip damn fools in this community. But you know what? As I told my brother this earlier today, he seems to believe it's a 50% ratio. I believe, in my experience, and that's his experience, my experience is more like a 20-25%. I mean, actually more like a 10 to 15% ratio. But see, the difference is intelligence moves in silence. Class moves in silence. Stick-to-itiveness moves in silence. Tomfoolery is loud, boisterous, and bombastic. Damn fools make way more noise than intelligent people. You walk in a room with a room full of intelligent people, they're having conversations, they're speaking, as they say, at their inside voices. They're talking to each other, not talking at each other. People who have less coof, less class, less self-control, they're loud. Look, pay attention to me. I don't need you to pay attention to me. You're going to pay attention to what I do. That's why I can get reports. And I always say this, and I'm not trying to break my arm, pat myself on the back, but that's why 450,000 people have tapped in. 450,000, 450, comma, 000, dot. That's why. Because I've honed my skills. I've presented facts to people. When I've made mistakes, I've come back on air and I've told people, hey, I made a mistake right here. And this is what I want you to see, that I made a mistake. And here's the correction to that mistake. See, it ain't about being the most boisterous and always being right. It's about uplifting my people. It's about making life for my people's, my great-grandchildren and our great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren better. See, because our ancestors, again, looking to the past, seeing what the problem was, fixing that problem, and then identifying our enemy. See, you got people. I live in a city that is identified as violent. Hey man, it's the violence in my city, and they were acting a damn fool, and this person got shot, and this person got robbed, and you know what? I will be a darn fool to say that ain't happening, because it is. But what else is happening? There are people in this city, young people, young men and women, who are excelling academically, excelling from an entrepreneurial standpoint, excelling in a social standpoint. But guess what? Again, just like those quiet people with intelligence and class and couth, they move without the attention because there's a machine in place. There's a machine in place to get you to hate people from other cultures, other lifestyles, other mentalities, other spirituality, other spiritual sides. It's because chaos fuels the machine. Let me see, somebody just said something. On a side note, what do you think about the 16 black starting quarterbacks in the NFL? I'll talk to you on that on. I will talk to you on that on Me and Mo show. Me and Mo show, Mo, we're gonna address that. Salute to those brothers. But we are in a situation to whereas we have to move forward and upgrade our mentality. Once we upgrade our mentality, we'll see this system created to distract you. Oh man, they're LBGTQIE. Oh man, they believe in abortion. Oh man, they don't believe in your God. They don't pray like you. The last time I checked, everything I just named don't have nothing to do with me. Now, if my daughter, yeah, guess what? My daughter, 27 years old, soon to be 28. Shout out to my daughter, Bria. Love you. If my daughter was LBGTQIE, that don't have nothing to do with me. If my daughter was had an abortion, that don't have nothing to do with me. If my daughter became a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Hindu, a Jewish person, she started with the Jewish, that don't have nothing to do with me, because you know what? That's your own personal relationship with your God. That's your own personal relationship with anybody in the history of the world. Because me and my daughter have our own relationship. Me and my son have our own relationship. Now, if you choose to do something that I don't agree with, that's on you. Because guess what? My mother used to drink, but I never saw her drink. We had alcohol in my house. My mother died when I was 40 years old. I've never seen my mother take a drink, but she had liquor in her house. So clear I remember opening up one of the little bottles, the little shot bottles they give you in the airport, drink it, thought the water was spoiled. It was vodka. She said, don't drink that water anymore. Liquor in my house. But I never seen my mother drink, because that's my mother's business. I got old elders in my family that smoke marijuana. I've never seen them do it, but I know they do it because get this out of my drawer. I opened their drawer, they had marijuana in their drawer. Ooh, closed it back. Hey, you smoking weed? Nope, because that's their business. Now, instead of worried about who we lay with, who we pray to, what we do with our bodies, how about this? This is your business. Stop identifying your enemy. Your enemy. Who is the greatest albatross in the Black community? It is the system that's designed to make us fight each other, argue with each other. Oh man, are you blaming the white man? No, what I am is blaming a system that's designed for working class people to pay attention to anything but the rules. What are the rules? Voting. Why is it that you're making it more difficult to vote? And I've seen documentation in 1956 where Republican people and people who are multimillionaires at this time literally said, we don't need as many people voting, because the more people vote, the less control we have. Why you need to vote, HRap? Because that ain't important. Because if anything that people who are in power try to take away from you, keep in mind that's going to be powerful. Because you ain't never thought about seeing a homeless person on the ground and say, let me run their pockets. You ain't never done that. You never will do that because nothing in their pockets is going to be important. Nothing in their pockets is going to be important to you. So then what kind of world do we live in when you're defunding the schools? Oh man, like my man said, oh, they stealing at the schools. Then somebody needs to go to jail, and then it needs to be a better vetting process to get people in schools who actually give a darn, who actually are working with you. Those are your enemies. Anybody who's trying to avert that is your enemy. But see, you're not engaging because you got this mentality, this judgmental mentality. It will never happen. Guess what? I'm going to go back 175 years. 175. Why I pick 175 years? Because the Emancipation Proclamation was signed 162 years ago. So I'm going to go back 175 years. It was people on those death camps saying, we will never be free. But it was people like my cousin, Nat Turner, the great Harriet Tubman, and literally hundreds of thousands of others running and getting killed, running and getting away, creating a way to get out of it because they said you a lie. You a lot like my man Mojo that Brooks. I know you lying because I'm out of here. That's why there was so many people from our community attempting to escape those death camps that they literally came up with a term called Drakedomania, meaning you have gone crazy because you don't want to be around me and serve me. But we don't want to identify those people as enemies. We don't want to identify that part of the problem is you herd me into a certain area and you inflict what's called Pavlov's law on me, making me scared to leave this area, stack me on top of each other, and making that known thing, that popular saying, crabs in a barrel. But crabs are not naturally violent against each other. And then they make you think, because then they show you, like here in Chicago, they show you the Robert Taylor homes, they show you the Henry Horner homes, they show you the Rockwell Gardens, they show you the Abla home, and people are boxed in and they have less opportunities, and so they act out of character, and you believe that. But what about when I used to live in Abla homes, 1209 South Racine, apartment 701, and we used to have competitions against other floors to see who had the cleanest deck, and it was people who were floor presidents that would vote and say who had the cleanest deck, and they would throw a party for the deck with the cleanest deck. That's creating pride. What about when my grandmother and my grandparents lived at 1655 West Hastings, and the whole block knew each other, and you couldn't do anything from 1600 West to 2400 West because everybody in that community knew each other. And my other grandmother lived 1942 West Washburn, and everybody in the 1900 block knew my grandmother. They knew Miss Williams. They knew Mr. Williams. What about those people? See, our enemy is not the people who live next door to you. Our enemy is the fact that our mentality has been changed. Oh, you need to move away from the Abla homes because that's no good. Or you can stay at the Abla homes as long as you have to, because the maintaining of the apartment and the rent is less, and you can go to school, get you a trade. Or you can go to Walgreens, or you can go to McDonald's, or you can go, I said Walgreens, I said CVS, I said McDonald's, I said Popeyes, and you become a manager. Because I know people at Popeyes making $85,000, $95,000 a year because they managers, because you don't have the academic prowess, but you can, and they got programs at places like McDonald's that will help you become an owner because you were there all that time. You were there all the time. They're going to help you get in ownership. See, we don't share those things because we think we've been trained that they ain't gonna want that, and that's beneath me. Ain't nothing beneath you. See, there's different ways to skin a cat. Or you can stay there long enough to save up to get you a house, because while you get this house, what's gonna happen is you have ownership. When you have ownership of your community, you have more pride in your community. We have more pride in your community. You'll be more apt to mow the lawn. You'd be more apt to do what my mother did. My dying mother did. Taking care of my mother, full-time healthcare provider for my mom. It snowed 1.5 feet that year in early 2010. In early 2010, it snowed 1.5 feet. I shoveled out my mother's walkway and right to the edge. You know what she did? She said, now go out back out there and you shovel to the curb and you shovel my man next door. My man next door. Dude was my age. She had me shovel his thing. You know why? Because when I wasn't there and she was in good health, my man shoveled hers. See, we're not our own worst enemies. But we believe these things and they become self-fulfilling prophecies, and and we move different because we're expecting the worst. And when you're expecting the worst, you're going to get it. Whatever you expect, you're going to get. Because you think, oh man, we got to stop blaming the white man. We got to stop blaming the government. But if the white man has done everything he can to destroy us, and the government in which that white man controls has done everything to subjugate us, and he's doing it to his people as well, but I ain't worried about his people. I'm worried about my pot of gumbo. I ain't worried about the gumbo across the street. I'm worried about that community's gumbo. See, that's why we have to identify our enemy, galvanize our community. Like I told you a couple days ago, put our young people in self-defense classes, not to fight, for discipline. It'll teach you physical discipline, mental discipline, and emotional discipline. So when you go to classrooms, guess what's going to happen? You got that same discipline. You in there listen to the teacher because you know how to listen to the sensei. You in there doing your hardest work, because guess what? When my son was in karate class, he couldn't get less than a C, or he was out of there. So now we got academic excellence, we got physical excellence, we got mental excellence, and emotional excellence. Combating our enemies, because they keep pulling these strings and making us think, hey man, HRap, he got 400,000 people, so why your podcast only got 10 people? Because you just started. And maybe you need to reach out to HRap and say, hey man, how you do that? And I'll tell you, and then both of us eat. Because we're not our own worst enemies. I'm going to show you, it's time for the video. It's time for the video. And this video is going to show you, you see the 1875 Mississippi. How many of y'all thought we was killing in 1875 Mississippi? I'm finna show you that we are. And then, if I'm not going to show the whole video, the video will not be shown in its entirety. You're going to go to right here. This is where you're going to go, www.innerbiz.com, and you're going to see that video. You're going to watch it, and he's going to get credit for his hard work, and I'm going to get credit for my hard work, and I'm going to thank everybody who do it. But I want you to watch this, because this is important to know. I'll be back in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and it's an 18-minute video, so you know I'm not going to play that, but I want you to see what you didn't learn in school.
5. The war is over, but the South still drips with hatred. The fields are quiet, but the saloons are loud, filled with bitter white men, former Confederates and Klansmen, clinging to the last scraps of their stolen power. They drink, spit, and swap stories about the good old days, when black men knew their place, when a slave couldn't vote, when nobody like him would dare walk through the front door. A black senator, a former slave, a man who had terrified white supremacists just by standing tall. They had tried to erase him that night, ambushed in a basement by men who couldn't beat him in life. But even with a bullet in his skull, he refused to fall like a coward. Remember, when you kill me, you kill a gentleman and a brave man. Never say you killed a coward, said Caldwell. This is the...
I would say it's like having another producer in the room that knows exactly what your song needs. This is co-producer, and it's...
Oops. But as you see, I was about to end it anyway. The commercial kicked in. But you see what that's about. How many of y'all know about that? Because we're not our own worst enemy. See, you've been duped into... Again, like me and my brother was arguing today. Shout out to my man Kevin. Good brother, man. He got his heart is in the right place, and my heart is in the right place. Again, he thinks the community is at an F. I think it's at a C minus. But what we agree upon, we need to improve the community. See, that's where we go. That's where me and Kevin gonna come to a common ground. That's where me and my brother gonna come to a common ground, because he's gonna watch this and say, B might be right. And he's gonna push back, and I'm gonna push back, and we've been knowing each other since we had teen in our age, so we're not gonna fall out about a disagreement. And we both, here's the thing, look, we disagree with where the state of the community, but you know what we agree on? We need to step up. We agree on we need to get better. We agree on black men need to step up, stop playing. We agree on we need to enforce the standards, because my man don't believe in standards. I know his standards. I said no. Yeah, you heard me, Kevin. I know it's standards, but we need to make sure those standards are being enforced. See, we don't know who is who. Is the liberal looking dude our friend, or it's the corporate looking dude our friend? We don't know who our enemy is. We don't know, but we know who our allies are. And just because, hey, y'all know the saying, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. So just because you could be black as the ace of spades, you can make Wesley Snipes look light skinned, don't mean you down for the cause. That don't mean you down for the brothers. You could, hey, Tim Scott, his big, never mind. Tim Scott don't look like he down for the call. Byron Donald ain't down for the call. And he, hey, you see them on the street, hey, brother. No, an adopted brother, you know, a runaway brother. That's what you are. You're a runaway brother. You ain't even a cousin. But once we identify who our enemies are, and that's the people who are taking away opportunities, taking away chances, taking away vocation, taking away finances, taking away these things, and not adding. See, how you fix poverty is education. See, if I learn about finance, if I learn about property management, if I learn about a Series 7 that costs $700, that I can make $700,000 a year, and they got programs at the unemployment office that'll teach me, that'll pay for my Series 7, send me through the class and pay for it. How many of us know that, though? Because the rich get richer and powerful, and the poor struggle, and we get angry. And when you get angry, like I said, I could sit back and look at the people on the side of me and watch them get in front of me, and I could sit there and angry, like the story of Lot. Don't look back, Lot. You and your wife leave. Don't look back, because you'll turn into a pillow of salt. Maybe she didn't turn into a statue. Maybe she just stood there salty as hell. I wish I had my old house. I wish I had my neighbors. And what you doing? She stood there. Meanwhile, Lot moving forward. Lot moved forward and got a better wife, a better life, and moved. Hey, I missed what I had. Got me. I broke. It was an inside joke. that did it. Shout out to that. Shout out to my favorite subscriber. Maybe he said, okay, it is what it is. I ain't got what I used to be. Guess what? 1209 South First Scene Apartment 701 was some wonderful years of my life, but I ain't getting those back. Guess what? My mama ain't living no more, so I can't live like that no more. 3526 South Lake Park. My mama ain't living no more. My niece Courtney showed up. She like a little sister to me. But I ain't there. 1442 North Cedric. Oh, man, it was wonderful. I lived there from 1980 to 93, 94. Wonderful. I ain't getting none of that back. But you know what I can do? I met people like Kevin during that period. I met people like Big Lenoy during that period. I started running with my man Big P. I started running with Craig. And those relationships are still intact. Bud, Macy, Rhonda. I need to tell y'all her last name. Rhonda, Irene. I mean, I got literally hundreds of good people from those areas. So what we do is enhance those situations, and those situations enhance, and we live in different parts of the city, and we continue to enhance. And then, like Poe, she lives in Carolina. Mocha lives in Florida. Phyllis lives in Oregon. D Great lives in LA, and we just continue to enhance and evolve, not devolve. That's what I want. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. And when you do that, you understand what you're up against. You're not up against each other. While me and my brother Kevin disagree on the state of things, me and my brother Kevin understand that the things are not where they need to be. See, we can focus on what we don't agree on, but we need to focus on what we do agree on. And when we do, we understand that it is an active system to make every single, not most, not some, every single black man in this country look like a clown. Because when you got people like Byron Donald speaking down to the community, we look at him like, man, screw you, Jack. This joker here. And when you got people like LeBron doing things, we've been trained to say, he too arrogant. We love Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, but LeBron arrogant. I'm not gonna get into it, but that's what we find the flaw. See, AI, he too hood. Steph Curry, they overhype him, and then they get people to go, see, they overhyping him. But we need to be celebrating Michael Jordan, We need to celebrate late great Kobe Bryant. We need to be celebrating LeBron James, Steph Curry. We need to celebrate Dr. Claude Anderson. We need to be celebrating what's my man name? Michael Jai White. We need to be celebrating Neil Tyson DeGrasse. We need to be celebrating the lady who opened the show, Dr. Joy DeGruy. We need to be, do you even know who Dr. Amos Wilson was? God rest his soul, rest in peace. We need to be celebrating Kwame Ture. We need to be celebrating Aunt Fannie Lou Hamer. We need to be celebrating everybody because, A, God didn't make no zeros. So if you hear and we see you are net positive or break even. See, if you're net positive, that means I've taken what you said, good, bad, or indifferent. Like y'all know, I'm not a big fan of our brother Stephen A. Smith. But guess what? I use Stephen A. Smith to be a barometer for what not to do. So even though I see him as negative, he is a positive. See, I could disagree with that dude, and I could think he the biggest clown since Bozo, Cookie, and Wizzo. But I could just tear him down. Or I could say, see, I can't do that. Or I could watch Club Shay Shay. And then when I watch Club Shay Shay, I could say, I could do that better. I'm not going to do that. Or I could watch our brother Barack Obama and him criticize himself for saying, and I could just go, or I could say, hey, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to slow myself down and I'm going to be a better orator. And then I'm going to continue to put out material. And then I'm going to talk about things that are vital to the improvement of our community. And I'm going to connect with my brother Kevin. And I'm going to connect with my brother Mo. And I'm going to connect with my brother Bear. And I'm going to connect with this guy. And I'm going to connect with that guy and this lady. And then I'm going to support my sister Poe. And I'm going to support the brother D-Grade. And I'm going to keep sharing things from DJ 2Q because she has a t-shirt company. And I don't even post anymore, but y'all see I share because it's important that we understand what we're up against, identify what we need to do, and do it. See, instead of, I don't do that, like with the church. My favorite antithesis is the person who's anti-church. First of all, this is a relationship I have with my creator. And if I totally disagree with you, that's cool. But watch this. Let's just go with Genesis. This is for all you agnostic, atheist people. Well, that Jesus stuff, that's the white man religion. First of all, you ain't read a book since Ned and the First Reader. See Ned run. Run, Ned, run. That's the last time you picked up a book, probably. But what I want you to understand is this. Instead of telling me that my faith is wrong, this is what I want you to do. Go to Corinthians in my book, that worthless book, and then you're going to hear Paul say, I give you these allegories. Allegory is a story with a lesson to learn. Now, then you're going to read that, and then you're going to go back to Genesis. And instead of thinking it's some magic bean story, what you're going to do is this. You're going to do this. This is what you're going to do. You're going to say, hey, Genesis, what's the lesson in this? The lesson is if the man and the woman don't work together, one of them will go astray. And if you're watching your significant other go astray, then it's your fault when they make the mistake, like Adam did. And then, oh man, it's Eve's fault. No, it's not, because Adam gave the instructions God gave instructions to Adam. So did Eve mess up or did Adam fall short? Now we thinking. Oh, damn, anti-capitalism. Because capitalism make you think you're thinking, but you're not really thinking. If you disagree, hey, you can have whatever you want, Ponderosa or Applebee's. I want Applebee's. Did you make the choice or did I? Exactly. Back to the point. So now you blaming Eve for Adam's shortcoming. And then you blaming Eve, at Adam, because Adam, not only did he not take responsibility, well, look at the woman you gave me. You gave it to me. So you ain't even going to be responsible for you eating the fruit. So you watch your woman talk to the serpent. You watch your woman walk up on a tree. You watch the woman touch the tree. You watch the woman eat from the tree. You partook in the tree, and it's God's fault that you didn't do it. Now, what's that? That's an allegory about a lack of accountability. The next part, your brother and you receive instructions from the Creator. You said, bump that. I'm going to do it my way. And then get mad and kill your brother. What's the story? What's the even your brother is jealous of you and will do you in the event that you don't do everything you can to win. You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? Everything in this world can be a positive if you walk into it with a positive mentality. All of those stories in that book that y'all like to call the white man's book, even though brothers wrote it, but hey, man, I don't know. Monotheology started on the continent where we come from and we permeate from. The oldest book like that in the history of the world says in Ethiopia, aka in Genesis, Cush, but it's the white man's thing. Hey, man, I don't know. My bad for thinking again. But again, knowing what you up against. So even if you don't believe in my faith, look, forget that white man. Look, we're gonna go to Quran. Disturbing one person or hurting or killing or eliminating one person messes up everything in the world. Meaning, love your brother as you love yourself. Oh, damn, that's the other book. You see what I'm saying? So you can learn from these allegories, these stories, or you can keep doing what you're doing, judging people what they're doing. Oh man, see, I mean, gay is against God's will. Lying is too. Fornication is too. So you a virgin? Are you married? No. Are you a virgin? No. Wait a minute. We gonna quote God? Last time I checked, maybe it's a different God. Maybe it's that new God. Because last time I checked, he said, "Let me handle that." He didn't say those words, but he said, "I'll handle that." And then he also said, "No sin is greater than the next." So you fornicating and you lying and stealing, because hey, I done stole some stuff before. I ain't above. I understand. If I open up my shirt and say "work in progress," but I've sinned. Let's go back to the book. Because a lot of people from the book, they quote Jesus. Oh, I'm gonna quote Jesus too. Let ye without the sin cast the first stone. Oh, damn! You got to shut up then. Oh, man, see that's an abomination. So you're gonna use a strong word to say gay is wrong. Okay, well, allow him to handle that. Oh, you know what? Oh, how about this? This y'all favorite one. Love the sinner, not the sin. So if gay is a sin, maybe you should just love the brother and sister for who they are and start judging them. Judge not, yet ye be judged. The Quran says the same thing. Hey, man, the Torah is the beginning of the Bible. I mean, come on, y'all. Hey, guess what? Even if you look at the laws of Ma'at, I think it's like 47 commandments. They only took 10 out and put it in the Bible. But yeah, we aren't getting into that. But if you start reading, you mess around and understand that all that stuff you're doing is wrong. It's amazing how you ain't going to adhere to the white man's Bible, but you will condemn someone like the white man does to you. With that being said, when you understand what you're up against, hypocrisy, discrimination, hatred at its finest, negativity, then you will not participate in the tomfoolery that brings about it. And because then when you stop participating in that, knowing what you're up against, you will know who your enemy is. And when you know who your enemy is, you can allow your past to dictate what your future is. And when you do those things, then and only then will you be able to be happy, and you'll enjoy on a regular basis a few minutes with HRap. But with that being said, if you have anything that you want me to speak about directly, if you have any suggestions, hey, HRap, I would love to hear your opinion on this. The end of the bench at gmail.com, THAENDOFDABENCH.com. That would be me. You can reach out. You can, hey man, that was some good job. But, or what you can do is even comment in the comment section. I get it. I get them. I respond. If you say something like, man, great show, I say, I hit hard and thank you. And if you say something, man, that's a good job, and I ignore you. I hit the like and then I ignore you because I ain't here to argue. If you got solutions, I'm listening. If you just want to identify another problem, that's cool too. That is for them people down the road. But all I need you to do is go here, theendofthebench.com, so you can watch the rest of that video with that brother who was a senator in 1875 that you never knew about. And you can support me, and then you can hit like, you can hit subscribe, you can make comments. And then with that being said, I'm going to thank you and have a wonderful day because I'm finna lay my black ass down because I got to go to work. I got to go pick my cotton because boss want me there at 10. But with that being said, man, thank y'all for support. Thank y'all for tapping in. 2 fingers, 1 word. I'm HRap. Watch the end of this by our brother Muhammad Ali is dropping science. This is what we need to start doing. And I'm out.
So really, ain't nothing in this integration. I need some land. I need some jobs. My people need jobs. We need something so we can build and do for ourselves, and we must have some land. Now, what's your suggestion? What should be my movement? Integrate?
Yeah, equal rights in a mixed society.
In this society, where you still own the government, you still own the train station, the railroad plant, the lecture plant, these television cameras, you still make all the food, you control everything, and I'm like a leech on a dog's back. All I can do is just wait for you. I can't do nothing for myself. Integrating in your society don't mean I'm doing nothing for myself. You doing it all. I want to do something for myself. I'm tired of depending on you. You might get broke one day. Your stores might close. Your gas pumps might cut off again. I'm relying on you now. Can I have my own land?